It's all about communication. It's all about talking, relating, the back and forth, the engagement, the sharing, the speaking, the writing. It's communication. Aries energy at 3 degrees. With Aries at 3 degrees, Aries being very expressive with its body. Aries at 3. They might even talk with their hands. Every little thing, there's an expression, there's a gesture. Aries, I'm talking with my hands. I don't know sign, but some Aries at 3 degrees may pick up quickly, depending upon other aspects in their chart, because it's the communication degree. It's the writing degree. So these people, these folks would be all about initiating communication, being the first person to reach out. It's also this, right? We speak with our thumbs, devices. It's the online, social media. These are going to be assertive, maybe aggressive communication styles for sure. These people, remember, Aries wants to fight. So if it wants to fight, it comes on strong. It comes out first. Remember, they're the Marines, the pioneers. They are going to make a statement. They're going to be the first ones to strike the first blow, likely. So verbally, or like this. But because it's based on an appearance, right? That's going to be really important in their communication style. Not only in their communication style, but very important in how they present themselves. If you're meeting them face to face or seeing them outdoors, wherever, there's going to be something quite expressive by the way that they carry themselves. Quick example. One of my housemates, and here's one that his wife actually loves to point out. Well, she points it out because she just can't stand it. She'll say, he'll pick up a glass and he'll go to drink it, but he'll have like his pinky hanging out, right? It's that whole pinky thing, if somebody, yes, I don't know, smoking, if pinky, people have their pinky out, but the drinking with the pinky out. But the one that is like her pet peeve is whenever they're talking and he's trying to point something out to her, like, oh, it's this, or oh, it's that. She said he'll use his middle finger. And it's, because it's the longest finger, even though this is the pointer finger, it's the longest one. And she said he'll go like this. He'll be like, oh, it's like that, or whatever. And so it's just right, that's a great example too in itself, right? This being communication with a part of the body even, right? Yeah. So that's just a little example of expressions that don't require words that there's a communication that goes on by those movements and by the action of the body. So the Aries energy being very powerfully explosive, kind of like a firecracker type of energy. Think of it like that, firecracker. But it also, in having that short wick, it may just be small bursts of communication. Somebody who initiates, which would be Aries, right? But they may not be able to be a long communicator. So maybe for telephone calls, these might be those people who can get quickly irritated, because that would be Aries anyway. But it's okay for them to talk, but they don't want to talk long. Or it's just going to be little bits of information, or if you call them, they never pick up. But if they call you, the Aries at 3 degrees, if they call you, right, because they initiated it, well, then you're expected to pick up, even though you may call and you're like, you never answer your damn phone, right? Aries energy is in love, literally, with self and with its ability to be first and to be ahead of somebody, to be ahead. Some use the word competitiveness. And so in communication, there might be that, Aries is rushing to just get the news out, because the 3 degrees is the news. It's not just communication, but it's I'm the reporter. I'm Johnny on the spot in the street, and I'm talking to people. I'm vlogging. I've got I've got the 411, my local community. This is Aries energy. I just realized I didn't check. Did I check if this microphone? I'm testing new equipment, and yeah. Anyway, I'm in a different spot, and I just never know if the shit's going to work. I think it says it's on. Yeah. So with all that said, Aries and the news, Johnny on the spot, my local community, my neighborhood. And it's going to be a communicating with people that it's familiar with, people that are its friends or its peers or coworkers and classmates, next door neighbors, housemates, right? That's Aries energy at 3 degrees. Okay. So it might be very big on learning. It's very curious and inquisitive and learning. So when it does speak, it may be questions. And so the Aries at 3 degrees would have to be cautious, would have to be paying attention, really, because others might back off from that strong energy. In that 3 degrees communication, it's fire and air, essentially, right? Coming out first and being a little assertive and being very curious, almost like with a childlike curiosity, where it's like, I can't believe you asked them that question. It might be some inappropriate stuff that's possible because there's something that it's just learning. It's still learning. It's young. Think of school children when we think of Gemini energy. Yeah. I mean, where's the third house in your astrology chart? You know where it's at, right? Yeah. So it's still when you're at a very young age. And the combination of young Aries can make communication possibly awkward because it's it's young. It just doesn't have the experience necessarily. Now, as this energy ages, this person can be a great communicator, excellent communicator, because it's the communication degree. They may enjoy communication. They may be, in broadcasting or something. But I wouldn't go that far because that would be doing this for a career. But it sure would probably be okay with vlogging itself because it's about me and it's, fun. And so it might definitely give it a try. It would need some other things to keep it as a sustaining thing, right? Where it doesn't get bored too easily. But I would imagine if it can change up its subject matter and involve itself in a way where it's being active and it just feels like it's doing something and not just talking, or definitely using its body to communicate, even maybe be a little on the creative side, especially because this is about writing and communication style. 3 degrees is how can I make money? Right. And so it's thinking about different ways that it can even barter and trade. Be like, oh, I can do this, if you can do that, or whatever it is that you can do, I can trade it for what I can do. It's always trying to think of an angle, in terms of, yeah, how can I benefit from this? But not in a greedy way necessarily, but it's definitely business orientated. It's really like, okay, what's next? So it might find itself constantly hopping and doing different things to figure that out because the 3 degrees is extremely scattered. It's yeah, the jack of all trades, but the master of none. It goes from topic to topic, from idea to conversations, talking about people. This would be an energy that would have to be cautious in terms of, you know, gossipy kind of stuff because it's so young and it might have a hard time understanding or seeing until it's a little bit older, seeing, oh, that kind of conversation can be quite harmful, actually, right? Because the 3 degrees is also like salesman energy. And there's a strong duality, whereas we can say one thing out of one side of the mouth, and then we say something else, something very different, opposite out of the other side of the mouth. And we might say it to 2 different people. And it might be about the other person to each different person. And so there becomes the problem where Aries energy can get caught up. Again, coworkers, peers, neighbors, siblings, people that it's familiar with. It's local community, everyday surroundings, right? So work and school included. This Aries energy, if it grows up, if it is aware, it can become quite the powerful and possibly even inspiring communicator, because Aries is optimistic and it seems fearless, right? So it'd be willing and okay and had the ability to be extremely blunt, actually. And so, as long as it's aware of that, it'll probably be okay. Just telling people right off the bat, I tend to come off a little strong. I don't mean nothing by it. When it gets to be, if it's a little too much, just, raise your hand for me and I'll know, okay, that means it's time for me to ease off a little bit. Like there's things that it can do if it's aware. And if it just communicates that out front, then people likely won't take offense, right? It comes down to the awareness and then the ability to communicate. I know that I'm like this. So it does take a little bit of work with this degree. And even though there's work involved, there can be, like I said, some very beautiful and inspiring and optimistic forms of communication that come out of it. And what people may really enjoy is that it's not going to be real long winded and lengthy, right? It's going to be like, so this would be the people who are doing their quick shorts or their reels or whatever all that stuff is, where it's all just really fast. It's really quick. It gets right to the point and then it's gone. And Aries would love the variety because that is the 3 degrees. It loves variety. So Aries at 3 degrees.